Hey guys, it's your buddy Will over at Casserole Disaster, sitting out on a lovely night tonight, and we're continuing on with the Halloween Hell Show. Now, I would be remiss if I didn't do a horror movie need to watch list for this Hell Show. I mean, I couldn't let it go by. Tonight, I think I'm going to go with the 9 most essential horror movies that you have to watch before Halloween. Why 9? Because I kind of like to drive people with OCD crazy, if that makes any sense. So here we go. Here are your top 9 horror movies that you need to watch this season. Fuck, this is getting hot. Alright guys, starting out on number 1 from the 9 essential horror movies that you need to watch for Halloween. Now, I'm not saying that these are the best, I'm just saying that these are the essential ones. The first one is the 1963 The Haunting, by director and producer Robert Wise. Now, he was very well known for psychological thrillers, and this one's no different. It is in black and white, and I know that turns a lot of people off, and I don't know why, because some of the scariest and most amazing movies, Cosmo, you knocked that camera over. Because some of the... Guys, could you just get away from the camera? Can you do... I give up. I give up. Okay, so the 1963 The Haunting is a black and white film, and it turns a lot of people off when it's black and white, but man, you are missing something if you don't watch this movie. For the simple reason that you don't like black and white films, and you gotta change your ways. This movie is scary, it's creepy, it gets under your skin. So there is a specific part of this movie which is very creepy, where they are asleep and you hear the spirits roaming up and down the hallways taunting them. I won't spoil the movie for you, but it is probably one of the more tense and makes the hairs raise on your arm scene, especially when she thinks that she's holding somebody's hand and the big reveal is somebody was holding her hand, but it wasn't who she thought it was. Anyway, go see that movie. If you see that they did remake it in 1993, don't. That movie is garbage. It is, that movie, whew. Number 8 on the countdown list from 9 is the movie, the original Poltergeist. 1984, Tobe Hooper directed with the production of Steven Spielberg. A truly, genuinely haunting film. And the first 3/4 of it is genuinely scary. It's about if you haven't seen it, is a normal family, the Freelands, and Mr. Freeland is a real estate agent who should have been partners with this major company developing Cuesta Verde, which is this house down in this housing community down in the valley. And what they did is they were so greedy that they built homes on the cemeteries and only moved headstones. Well, unfortunately for the Freelands, they found out the hard way when paranormal events started taking place in their home. And at first it was very harmless. I mean, it was spooky, but it was harmless until one night the spirits got angry and took Carolyn away through another portal dimension, and they spend the rest of the movie trying to get her back. And it asks a lot of open-ended questions like, what do you believe and what scares you the most? And with the cinematic effects of Steven Spielberg and his casting direction, making these people very, very believable. And then, of course, Tobe Hooper with his genuine shocking gore makes this one of the more chilling. And for 1984, hey man, I can dance to that dance. Like I said, they remade it. Fuck that, don't do that. But yeah, if you haven't seen it in a while, go check it out. If you've never seen it at all, man, you're in for a treat. Alright, Fright Night, 1985, directed by Tom Holland, who also directed Return of the Living Dead. This is an all-time favorite of mine. It makes the Halloween list because it just wouldn't be Halloween without it. The premise of the story is a vampire who has lived for thousands of years, moves in right next door to Brewster, the teenager, and he is having problems with his girlfriend and finding out life, and he's really into horror hosts, which is kind of the topic of this year's Halloween Hell Show. And he was peeping Tom one night and found out that his neighbor is a vampire who also is connected to a lot of these really grotesque and strange murders that have been taking place around that area. So he takes it upon himself to stop this vampire, and he does it in a way where nobody believes him. And really, it looked like the only person who could save him is Peter Vincent, which is great. I love that name that they did, Peter Vincent. It's a shout out to Peter Cushing and then Vincent Price. And he was a horror host, vampire killer. But in real life, he was kind of a coward and at the end of his rope when it comes to hosting horror movies, which is very realistic when you see a lot of these guys who have these cable access shows. And it's up to him and Peter Vincent to stop the curse, save his girlfriend, and kill the vampire. And it is just a fun, awesome movie with a great soundtrack. Check it out, 1985, Fright Night. Alright, number 6 on the list, Phantasm. If you've never seen Phantasm, it's actually really crazy and very cool. Don Coscarelli. Now, Don Coscarelli came up with this entire idea by himself. I don't know if it was from a dream or whatever, but he locked himself in a mountain house outside of LA and wrote the whole thing and directed it under a very small budget. It came out in 1979, but it looked like it was filmed a lot earlier than that. The premise of the story is a young kid and his brother are attending a funeral for a friend who was killed. And not too recently, both of their parents were killed. It's a general sense of creepiness, and the score of this movie, the music of this movie is probably one of the best of all time when it comes to horror. It's just a really, really cool, creepy, organ-sounding, funeral home-sounding musical score. Well, anyways, he was looking through the monastery and noticed that there was this very tall mortician named the Tall Man, played by Angus Scrimm, posthumously. But he picked up the casket with one arm and put it in the hearse, which, if not to get too grim, but if you've ever been a pallbearer, man, those things are really heavy. So he knew right away something was weird. And as the course of the movie goes on, he and his older brother come to find out that there are strange things afoot at the monastery, and they go and find out that Angus Scrimm, I could never tell if they were like aliens or they were from another dimension, or I don't know what it was, but they were taking corpses, revitalizing them, shrinking them down to, like, I don't know, like hooded monk midgets who sounded terrifying to be slave labor on another planet. It was really bizarre, but anyway, very cool, great cast. Really sets the mood for Halloween if you ever want to see it. Boy, I tell you, Angus Scrimm didn't have too many lines, but the ones he did, man, he hit home runs with. So watch Phantasm, live it, love it, get the soundtrack, especially on vinyl. Man, it'll make your Halloween. Alright, the next one up is the 1973 William Friedkin's The Exorcist. Now, a lot of people would put this at the top of the list for the Halloween countdown, but that just kind of does... It's a weird movie for me. It's one of my favorite all-time movies because it's hard to define if it's a horror movie or it's a movie that makes you question faith. What is evil? What is good? Are people destined to be who they set out to be? The premise of the story, if you've never seen it, I don't see how you wouldn't see it, but a very young, innocent girl gets possessed by a demon. Things start to kind of get a little bit crazy. Her mom, who is a celebrity, who's a movie star, and shooting a movie in Washington, D.C., she starts to notice that there's things going wrong with her daughter. Hey. Hi. And when things start going wrong with her daughter, things get really sinister, and certain events start taking place that has her to believe that her daughter has some sort of psychological problem. So they take her to the hospital and run some really crazy tests that today seem, oh my gosh, they seem just so archaic. When the doctors kind of give their hands up, they even suggest an exorcism. Throughout this movie, it was a very big shocker in 1973, and even caused people to go have to be committed to therapy. It was a groundbreaking event, and it was defined as one of the scariest movies ever made. In fact, Billy Graham described it as evil on celluloid. I don't know, I consider it more of a question of faith and not so much a horror movie, but it makes this list because, God, if you want to be scared and you want to be disturbed, this is the movie to do it. It's smart, it has amazing special effects for the time, and it's incredibly believable, especially from a Catholic standpoint. It It's a scary one. Okay, the next one is Night of the Demons, 1988. Directed by Adam Garish? I don't know. Anyway, it stars Amelia Kincaid and the lovely Linnea Quigley. I hope I'm saying that right. Anyway, I met both of them, even had dinner with Amelia Kincaid, when she was promoting her book at the time. It was really cool. This is a fun one. It came out in 1988, height of, kind of punk and amazing heavy metal music. And it's a story about a bunch of teenagers that go to this house, and somehow or another, I just watched this with Brian and Dave a few months ago. Somehow or another, they become infested with demons, and one by one, they start turning, and it's down to two people who escape. It's a pretty simple story. Special effects are really good. Has a genuine scary vibe. But I tell you, the beginning intro and music to this movie is some of the best I've ever seen, and it puts you right in the mood. It's one of those great movies where if you're having a Halloween party, you can put it up in the background, and people immediately know that you are at the most killer, awesome Halloween party ever. Did I sell it? Next movie up, Night of the Living Dead. Not the Romero version, but the Tom Savini version from 1990. This is one of the few remakes that I will actually suggest that will put you in a better Halloween mood than the original. Why I say this is because Tom Savini really made a mark for himself, and not only the special effects, but the overall mood of what it would be like to be in a zombie apocalypse, and did it extraordinarily well and kept it to a Romero style. The actors are superb. The zombies were superb. It was genuinely gory, but it did give a great background scene and really kept to the original Romero. And I thought it was just so well done. But I tell you, just the score, like I said again, it's a great horror movie to put you in the Halloween spirit. Okay, I'm going to get some hate mail for this one. Second from the last one, Friday the 13th, Part 6. Why did I pick this one, you might ask? I will tell you. Alright, Friday the 13th, Part 6, Jason Lives. Directed by Tom Laughlin. I want to say that's right. This one picks up... It doesn't really pick up. So the movie starts out with Tommy Jarvis, played by Tom Matthews, who's also in Return of the Living Dead, traveling with Horshack, and they escape from the mental institution, and they're driving to go dig up Jason for whatever reason and re-kill him. I don't know, but they inadvertently reanimated Jason in doing that, and Horshack gets punched through the chest. This movie's a fun one. It's very well directed, it's very well acted, and some really well-named actors of that time in 1986 all the way through about the early 90s had their appearance in that movie, and it was just fun. I think the movies from 1985 to like 1988 were just fun in the horror genre, and this one was really cool. Jason was awesome, the acting was campy, the music was good. It was all around a fun one that every time it comes out, I immediately have to stop what I'm doing and watch it. Doesn't matter when it happens, but especially on Halloween, man, you want to give this one a shake. Number one. Now I'm going to kind of cheat on this one because it's really kind of two movies. So for those people freaking out who have OCD to say, well, how can you have a top 9 countdown? This is your 10, but I'm saying it's 9 because it's really the same movie. And of course, Halloween and Halloween 2, directed by John Carpenter and Deborah Hill. Halloween is the one that defined Trick or Treat, the Boogeyman, and The Night He Came Home. It's just such a cool movie. You cannot have Halloween without watching it at least one time. I say Halloween 2 to tag onto it because it's one continuous movie, and if you really want to keep it going and you got a hot date over sitting on your couch and you're hoping that the movie doesn't end, you can always say that there is the rest of the movie. It's a 4-hour amazing film spectacle like Patton. If you've never seen the movie, yet again, I need you to get out from underneath this rock and go experience something fun. This movie is about a young kid who murders his sister, gets put away for 15 years, and he has this psychiatrist and psychologist who tried to help him but realized there was nothing left in him but pure evil. And he comes and he escapes from the mental institution and comes back to Haddonfield to find his sister who's been hidden away from him, Laurie Strode. And it is a teenage slasher. It's really the beginning of the teenage slasher movies. And it's a great movie. It's very well directed by John Carpenter himself. And the mask, Michael Myers' mask, oh my goodness. The dead eyes, the breathing in the mask. Always was wondering why he needed to drive around, because that made it a little silly, but they addressed that in the movie. And then Donald Pleasance. I mean, Donald Pleasance, a huge Academy Award-winning actor, was in this movie. What a risk, because it was such a low-budget film, and John Carpenter was so young at the time. So yeah, watch Halloween, carve a pumpkin, make popcorn, watch The Thing. You gotta do it. Alright guys, those are my 9 essential Halloween movies for the 2016 Halloween Hell Show. I'm glad that you guys are hanging out with me. I'm gonna drink some beer, hang out at this fire. I don't know when this is gonna come out, but hopefully it's gonna come out sometime before the end of Halloween. Anyways guys, be well, do well. I love you guys, and we'll talk to you soon. Happy Halloween. Ah, shit. Ugh.